Yeah. Last class we had seen this spiral model. I had already told you that this spiral model is divided into 4 quadrants, okay, into 4 sections. So these are the 4 sections. One is your objectives, evaluate alternatives, plan next phase, and develop, verify. So this is the first phase, second phase, this is the third phase, and this is the fourth phase. Okay. Then some definitions are there, like it has two features. First is, it is called as a cyclic approach. Why it is called as a cyclic approach? Because it is in the circular form. Each one loop represents one phase. Okay, each one loop represents one phase. So the number of phases or the number of loops will depend upon uh, what I can say, the complexity of the software. It depends upon the complexity of the software. Okay, so some definitions are given, like what is mean by anchor point and milestones. Okay, so what are those? See here, you can see that some models, simulations, and benchmarks are generated. Okay, so that is a definition of that anchor and milestone. Okay, so in examination, they may ask you to explain that. So please go through it. So definition of milestone is given here. Okay, then, so this is the block diagram of different phases. See, here you can see that there are 4 phases. One is determine objectives. Second is evaluate. Third is develop, verify. And fourth phase is going to the next level. So these are the 4 different phases. So those who have entered the classroom now, please enter your register number and your name in the chat box, which will be considered as attendance. Okay, fine. Now, so when it is asked for 5 marks, you can just go with this diagram and this explanation. When it is asked for 5 marks, when it is asked for 10 marks, then only you can go for this diagram. When it is asked for 10 marks, okay. So this is nothing but what? Only loops are drawn, and it will show that how the 4 quadrants are divided. This is the first one, second one, third one, and this is the fourth one. So explanation of the quadrants. Okay. So in first quadrant, what you will do? Here you will decide the objectives, and here you will go for designing. Okay. So in the second quadrant, what you will do? In the second quadrant, you will go for designing. Here you will go for coding, and you will go for testing. Okay. And after coding and testing, you will decide whether to develop the next version. Right. So you can explain all these phases, right? And these are the advantages. So let me start from here. We stopped over here in the last class. So advantages of spiral model. As I told you that this is used only for large projects. I told you example of COVID sensor, development of a new COVID sensor, isn't it? So there you can see that. So I think everybody has logged in. So today we have nearly 60 participants. Okay. All right. So this is good for large projects. Whenever large and complex projects are there, at that time we can go for spiral model. Okay. Next, flexibility in requirements. It means what? When the system is new, the requirements will be always changing. And when we have changing requirements, at that time we can opt for a spiral model. So by help of this model, the customer will be very happy. Why? Because we were successful in providing all the needs of the customers. Okay. So this model is especially used for risk handling. Why risk handling? See, so during the development of a new COVID sensor, we don't know what are the risks that may come during the software development. But once when we start building the prototype, every time we will get to know what are the risks in development of a complex software. Hence, these are the 4 to 5 advantages of spiral model. Okay. So whenever it is asked in the examination for 10 marks, you have to go for the diagram. Okay. Then you have to explain the phases. Okay. You have to explain these 4 phases, and then you can go for advantages and you can go for disadvantages. Okay, so when it is asked for 10 marks, okay, if it is asked for 5 marks, you can go to the diagram and explanation of phases. No need to write advantages and disadvantages if it is asked for 5 marks. But when it is asked for 10 marks, remember guys, you have to explain the diagram, phases, applications, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so I think spiral model or prototype model is repeated so many times in the examination. So these two models are very, very important for your annual exam also. Okay, so we have nearly 5 to 7 models. Okay, waterfall model, incremental model, RAD model, evolutionary model. So in evolutionary models only we have a prototype, spiral and concurrent. These three are the types of evolutionary models. We had already seen, right? So see here, we had already seen that RAD model, okay, then in evolutionary process model. So these are the three different types of evolutionary process models. Okay, so we learned prototype model, we learned spiral model. Okay, so here some links are also given. If you need more information, you can go through that videos also, okay, in my channel. Then we have concurrent development model, which is the third model. So if they ask you explain evolutionary process model for 10 marks, okay, you can explain any two. You can explain any two if they are asking for 10 marks, or you can also explain all the three models, or they may ask you specifically explain prototype or explain spiral model. Okay, so concurrent is asked very rarely. These two models are asked very oftenly, right? Okay. So now we will quickly go to the disadvantages of spiral model, right? So it is complex, yes, because there are so many loops. We have to go through all the phases until we get our final system, right? So it is expensive, right? So those who have entered the classroom now, please put your names in the chat box, okay? Put your register number and name in the chat box, huh? So that I can just take it as an attendance. Okay, so those who have entered now, right? So too much dependable on risk analysis. So what is risk analysis? Identifying the problems or identifying the errors. Okay, so this is carried out continuously until the final software is developed. So analyzing different types of risk or problems that may come during the software development. Okay, so here continuously what will happen guys? Continuously the risk analysis, okay, continuously the risk analysis is carried out. So difficulty in time management, yes. So why there's a difficulty in time management guys? See, as there are n number of loops, so at the initial time, you cannot tell what is the exact time required for the development. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of spiral model. All right, now let me go to the next model, that is concurrent model. Okay, so as the name itself indicates, concurrent. What do you meaning? What does it mean? Concurrent means what? Anybody? What do you mean by concurrent? What is meaning of concurrent? Yes, anybody? Concurrent andre ಏನ್ರಿ? What is concurrent? Concurrent means simultaneously, okay, parallelly, or doing one after the another. Okay, so now what happens in concurrent model? See, this is the block diagram used for concurrent model. Okay, so hope you remember the example which I told in incremental model. Okay, see, I told you one example in incremental model. Once again, I will tell you that. Okay, suppose we have three modules. Okay, this is module number 1, okay, module number 2, and module number 3. All right, so this is your M1, that is module number 1. Suppose this is your M2. Okay, so this is your M2. And then, is the screen visible? The whiteboard is visible to all? Whiteboard is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Right, see, we have three modules, that is module 1, okay, then we have module 2 and again we have got module 3, right? Module 1, we have got module 2, and we have got module 3. All right. Suppose let us take an example of ATM itself. Okay, ATM software. Okay, so ATM software has got modules, like I told you. It has got login module to carry out the login activities. It has got transactions, or let us take it as a deposit, or I will take it as a transaction. Okay, so transaction is nothing but what? Deposition and withdrawal. Okay, transaction is all about depositing the amount through ATM and withdrawal of amount through ATM, right? Then we have got statement module. That is, statement is nothing but what transaction you are going to perform, that statement. We have got one more module, that is change pin. We have got one more module, that is change pin. All right. So this is, let us consider as so here I am taking 3 modules, okay, but these are the 4 modules, that is login, transaction, statement, and change. Okay, so what I will do, I will just cancel this because I have just created 3 modules here. Yes, so now during the development, what I told you, first module 1 is created. Okay, so this depends on what type of model you are going to use. Okay, if we use incremental model, what happens in incremental model? There is a different technique. If we use RAD model for development of this software, they follow different technique. Okay, if we use prototyping model, they follow different technique. If we use spiral model, they follow different technique. Okay, yes, okay. So what happens in spiral model? Let me take an example of, for example, rapid application development model. So in a RAD model, what will happen? We are going to divide the software into terms of modules, and work on different modules is carried out. That is the working of RAD model. What is the working of prototype model? In prototype model, what will happen? The work is carried out simultaneously and it is given to the customer to use. Customer will suggest the changes, then again you repeat all the phases. That is about prototype model, right? Then we have spiral model. In that also we follow modular approach only, right? So modular approach is very, very important. Module wise development is most probably carried out in all the development softwares. Okay, now I wanted to tell you about concurrent model. So what happens in concurrent model? Okay, now suppose there are 3 development teams. Okay, we have 3 development teams, that is team 1. Okay, then we have, okay, we have one more team, that is team 2. Okay, and I have one more team. Okay, that is team 3. So I have got 3 teams here, right? So this is my third team, that is team number 3. So students, those who are entering now, it is already late, please enter at the time, those who want to come to the class. Okay, so we have T3, right? So this is team 3, right? So we have 3 modules and there are 3 different teams which are working on the modules. Okay, we have team 1, team 2, and we have team 3. There is module 1 which is login, module 2 which is transaction, module 3 which is for changing the passport, right? Now what happens in concurrent model? In concurrent model, what happens is module wise development is carried out. So module 1 is developed by team 1, module 2 is developed by team 2, module 3 is developed by team 3, and during that process what will happen? Suppose the module is developed and there are some errors in module 1. Okay, the module is developed and yes, Akshu, any queries are there, you can ask please. If any queries are there, you can ask. Okay, see, so what happens here, if there are any errors noticed here during the development of module 1, so the team 1, what the team 1 will do, it will keep this module, okay, it will keep this module from working state to pending state, working state to pending state, right? So in concurrent model, what happens is there are 2 different terms called as what? States. Okay, there are 2 different terms called as what? State. What is that? States. So what do you mean by state? State is nothing but what? So there may be states like working, okay? There may be states like pending. Okay, there may be states like under construction. Okay, we have some states like under construction. Okay, so these are the different states. So we have different states, guys, right? So our software may go under some states also. Suppose the module 1, okay, suppose there is module 1 and it is under working state. Sometime if there is any error in module 1, it will go from working to pending state. If it is under construction, it will be in the under construction state. Same wise for module 2 also. If module 1 is having some problems, okay, module 1 is having some problems, it will be under pending state. If module 1, okay, is working properly, it will be under working state. If module 2 is under the development, so it will be under the under construction states. So these are the three different states. Okay, so in concurrent model we follow one more approach, that is called as what? State. Okay, so each module, okay, will undergo some states, right? Each module will undergo some states. So this is carried out concurrently for all the modules, because there are three different teams which are working on three different modules. Okay, so simultaneously our project is divided into modules and each team is going to work on that module. So this is the main motto of concurrent model. And what is one more thing? There are different states carried out in the concurrent model. Okay, is it clear? Now, I will explain you the same with the block diagram. Okay, I will explain you same thing with the block diagram. All right. Yes. So see here. So what we have this block diagram, right? So suppose analysis activity. So see, the concurrent process model can be represented systematically as a series of major technical activities, tasks, and their associated states. It means each module of the project will undergo some states, as I told you with an example, right? So it may follow any approach. It may go, that module may follow prototyping model, RAD model, or any. Okay, but each of the module will follow some stages. Okay, each of the module, okay, will follow some states. All right. Okay. For example, now suppose we have ATM software and we have three modules, that is login, transaction, and change pin. Suppose I have taken only three modules for this project, right? Now suppose first module, that is login. Login, let us consider it as under development. Okay, so I will consider that it is under development. I will consider that it is under development. So if, okay, if the module is designed properly, if the module is having no problems, if the module is having no errors, or if the module, okay, is totally bug free, there is no default, okay, it is directly going for review. It will directly go for review. It means the team leader will take that module and he will test that module, okay, and baseline. It means he is trying to finalize that module and then finally it will go to the done. Okay, so this is the cycle repeated. This is the cycle repeated when your module is designed perfectly, when your module is working properly. All right, but in case, okay, but in case if your model, okay, in case if your module is having some problems, so it will go for this part, that is awaiting changes. It means if there is some problem with the login module, it will go for awaiting changes. After making the changes, it will again go for revision to the team leader. The team leader will again make a revision of that module, whether the module is updated with the changes. Okay, then it will go to review and then it will go to baseline and then it is finally done. Again, if there are some errors, again if it is noticed that there are some errors in the module, again it will go for awaiting changes. Then again it will repeat the cycle. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so what happens is that this is the state-wise transactions. Okay, state. So what are the different states here? Under development, pending, awaiting changes means pending, reviewing, under revision. So revision and review, what are the differences? Revision means what? The developer will check, and review means the team leader will check whether your software is designed properly. All right. Okay. So these are the different states. So in examination, you don't need to write any example. I have given you example only for the understanding purpose, right? So follow, when it is asked in the exam, just go for concurrent model, follow this block diagram. Okay. And this is the explanation, right? So one more example. I'm trying to give here. So I will tell you that example. Okay, see. So maybe in one of the states noted at any given time. So activity analysis means what? See, activity analysis. What do you mean by activity analysis? It means to understand that our module is in which state. Okay, that is called as activity analysis. So there are different activities. What are those? Under development, awaiting changes, under revision, under review, baseline, and done. These are different 5 to 6 set of activities. You can call these activities as tasks also. You can call these activities as states also. Is it clear? Okay, so activity analysis is nothing but finding out what activities are carried out during the module development or during the entire software development. All right. Okay. Now, then one more example I will tell you. Okay. So what is that example? See, early in a project, the customer communication activity, it has completed its first iteration and exists in awaiting changes state. Means, let us take an example. So what is that example? Suppose we will consider it as that the customer has given us the requirement. The customer has given us the requirements. Okay. It has passed this state. Okay. It has passed this state. Then what they are telling, see, uh, so which existed in the non-state while initial customer was completed, now makes a transaction in under development state. If however the customer indicates that changes in requirements must be made, the analysis activity moves from under development state into awaiting changes state. So I will brief it. Okay, what does that example mean? Suppose in activity analysis, what we did, we went to our customer. The customer, what he did, he provided us with a set of information. Then, after providing the set of information, okay, we went for the development. It means that module 1 is under development now. And now what happened? The customer felt that some changes are to be made. Okay, the customer in between, what he will tell? Okay, the customer in between, yes, if any queries are there, you can ask, please. The customer, what he did, he felt that no, I have to suggest some changes in the existing software. That is the reason it will not go for reviewing. Why it will not go for reviewing? Because the customer is providing the changes. So it will go to this state, that is awaiting changes. So this may happen if the customer fails to provide the correct information. Okay, so this is one of the example, right? There is one more example. See here, a model correction which will trigger analysis from states, that is done. So same as I told you. So if the user fails, okay, in examination you can write any one example. So these are the two different examples which I have given. You can refer anyone in the exam. So one example you can take that if the customer fails to provide the correct information. Okay, if the customer fails to provide the correct information, so it may not go to review, it may go to the changing, awaiting for the changes. It means the team leader is suggesting the changes. Okay, fine. So concurrency, it is achieved in two ways, right? So this part you can just skip if it is asked for 5 marks. Huh? If it is asked for 5 marks, you can write only until here. Just go for this explanation and go for the concurrent model. Okay, you can skip this explanation if it is asked, right? So I will just tell you that the system and component activities and client server application. So concurrency model, where it is used in client server applications. Client server applications are nothing but what? Uh, the applications, okay, which are carried out, for example, your WhatsApp, it is a client server where interaction is carried out from both the side. Okay, so that is called as what? uh, Two-way, right? It is two-way communication in two-way, system and components. Okay, so system and component activities are designed specifically for a specific system. All right. Okay, so what they tell us that overall briefing I will do. So concurrent models are best used in networking, okay, and in the client server applications. All right, guys. So this is the explanation of the concurrent model. Fine. Yeah. So we have still time. So I will move to another model. So most probably tomorrow we will be ending up with the first unit, and from Saturday nobody will take class. So I will be taking 2 classes on Saturday, and I will start second unit on Saturday. Okay. Yes. Now.
Madam,
Yes. Yes. What? Yes. Nadeem, any queries?
सॅटर्डेला नको मॅम.
सॅटर्डे कोणी घेत नाही.
तुम्ही टाइम टेबल मध्ये द्या आणि त्या हिशोबाने आमचं वीकेंड प्लॅनिंग असते मॅडम.
पण already it is late. No, we will start second unit. 1 hour I will take. Huh? 1 hour I will take. Okay, we'll start on Monday. No problem. Huh? Okay, Saturday I will not conduct. I will take on Monday. Saturday will be given off to you. Okay, no problem. Huh? Okay, now let me continue. So let us go to the next model. Okay, that is component based model. Okay, see, component based model. This is very useful model. Okay, this is very useful model. So it is also called as what? Say COTS. That is commercial of the shell software components. Commercial of the shell software components. Now what exactly happens here? I will tell you. So here there are some companies. Okay, there are some companies. So they are also called as vendors. They are also called as vendors or dealers. So what they are doing? They are developing some modules of the software. So I know that you all are very much aware of now what is a module. Module is a small working unit of the project. Module is a part of a project. Okay, module is a sub component of the project. Module is nothing but a small working unit of the project. Module doesn't mean that entire project. Now I have taken example of ATM where I have told you that isn't it? So we have taken example of ATM, and there I have told you that these are the 3 different models: module 1, module 2, and module 3. Okay, now here I will tell you that these modules are also called as what? Components. These modules are also called as what? Components. Now what is the working? Now let us take for example only the working of login module. Okay, let us take only the working of login module. All right, now suppose I want to develop a login module. What is the information that I need? I need the name of customer, I need the cell number of customer, I need bank details of the customer, I need Aadhaar or PAN details of the customer, I need a valid address of a customer, I need a signature, I need a photo of a customer. So these are called as what? Login credentials. Okay, so they are called as what? Login credentials. This is called as login credentials. It is also called as what? Login details. So these are the details which I require for the login when I want to design a software. Okay, only for banking. Okay, when I want to design a software only for banking. Now you tell me, every bank needs the same details, isn't it? The same details are required by all the bank when you have to log in through the ATM. Suppose we want to log in through ATM, every bank will require these details only. So these details are common for every bank. These details are common for every bank, isn't it? That is the reason some companies, what they are doing, they are developing some modules. Okay, so for example, here they are developing which module? They are developing this login module, okay, which belongs to the banking software, which will have the same details. So some companies will develop these modules. So the modules, these modules which are also called as what? Components. Okay, modules are also called as components. So what are components? Components are nothing but the small working units, isn't it? Components are nothing but the small working units of the software. So some companies, what they are doing, they are designing such kind of components. They are designing such kind of components which can be used again and again, which can be reused again and again. Suppose if we take student details will be same in all the colleges. Bank login details will be same in all the bank, isn't it? Change pin details, the coding is same for every change pin option. So that is the reason what some companies are doing. Some companies, they are developing, okay, some companies what they are doing, they are developing some models, okay, and then uh, reusing of those models is carried out. They will develop that module and that module can be sold, okay, to some other companies again and again. So that type of development is called as what? Component based development. Are you getting it, guys? That type of development are called as component based development. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of these? See, here there is an explanation. These components provide targeted functionality with well-defined interfaces that enables the component to be integrated into software. It means you can just take login module and you can combine that login module with other modules. Okay, so that is component based development, right? So this is the model. There are some certain steps. What are the steps? First, these companies are making some research in the market. They are making lot of research and they are collecting lot of information from different kinds of customers. And based on that, they are designing those components. It means those components are highly quality assured. So there are chances that maximum software functions are included in that software. Okay. Then they will include the latest software architecture in that model, very latest. You can say that very latest, which will work for the next 4 to 5 years. They will work on the latest technologies. Now the latest technologies like machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these are implemented. All right. Then these models are combined with other models. So some companies are purchasing models from different companies, right? So that is all about component based development. So all right, guys. So I think only one or two models are remaining that we can take in tomorrow's class, and we will end up with first unit tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we will be ending up with the first unit and Monday I will start with the second unit. All right, so if any queries are there, you can please ask.